There we go. Oh, itchy eyes today. Sinus infection processing through. Sorry if I rub my eyes. Anyway, great to see you guys. Looney says hello. Earlier in the week, we discussed how animals are, well, they're always on the beam. They don't, well, here's an here's another way of thinking about it. We humans are tricky animals. Wouldn't you agree? Because while all the other species don't have religions or spiritual systems, we humans do. So I was kind of thinking during my meditation, since it seems to me like a religion or a spiritual system is something that a human would use to get on the beam, so to speak, that I wonder how many spiritual systems or religions there are. So I asked AI, how many religions are there on the planet currently? And it estimated the number of established world religions somewhere between 4,000 to 10,000 religions. Wow, that's a lot to choose from. Now, in a particular thought experiment that I was thinking, what would happen if you got a proponent of each one of those? Let's just take the average between 4 and 6,000, let's say 7,000 world religions, and you had a proponent from each one meet in a large convention center for a big fun event together. And so now in a convention room, you have 7,000 proponents of 7,000 different religions, all in the same room. And wow, it would be, imagine if you had to choose the correct one. Otherwise, in technical terms, you're super screwed because you've chosen one of the wrong 6,999 incorrect religions, and one person happened to hit the lottery and hit the correct religion. I think maybe you can kind of see where I'm going, but there sure are a lot of ways for humans to think about, to practice about, to believe about, to engage with uh, their their getting on the beam, so to speak. So I suppose a great question we might ask ourselves in our week of examining, am I on the beam? Am I getting more in the beam? Is more beam shining in and through me? Am I enjoying the benefits of being on the beam? More creativity, more innovation, more love, more health, more vitality, more ability to influence positively, to be of greater service, to be more cheerful and loving. In effect, of course, to bring more heaven on earth. Am I getting more and more on the beam with my current religious or spiritual system? And well, how would we know? Uh, Proponents of other religions could get right in our face and say, you're practicing the wrong one. Even people in our own religion could say, you know, your particular division or the way you're working our religion or spiritual system is slightly off than the way that we're working it. So seriously, this is an important question. How do you know that you're involved with or involved in the religious or spiritual system that's getting you more and more on the beam, more effectively and efficiently every single day? Well, this, of course, is one of the greatest questions in the history of mankind, and avatars have dealt with it. And the best answer that I've ever heard comes from an avatar who said, quite simply, by the fruit you shall know. Fruit? What happens if you only eat meat? You know, like I do. I'm mostly a carnivore, not a lot of fruit. So I'm supposed to judge by the fruit. Well, I think we have to unpack the statement. The acid test to know whether our spiritual or religious system is truly effective and is truly working, is truly productive in getting us on the beam, aligned, tapped in, and tuned in so that we're in the flow of existence. The acid test is, does it produce true and genuine happiness? Does it produce true and genuine happiness? I think any sign of the truth with a capital T is that it produces true and genuine happiness, order, harmony, love, joy, and bliss. It actually produces those qualities. And No one else can tell us whether we're experiencing that. If someone else is telling us if someone's telling me whether I'm happy, whether I'm productive, whether I'm doing the right thing, then something is amiss. And I believe we all have this internal GPS that gives us moment to moment perfect genius course correction and information. Are we on the beam or not? So I'm not sure which of the 4 to 10,000 spiritual systems or religions you're currently engaged in. I'm glad you're engaged in some of them, but there is, and here's a radical notion that Looney and I thought of during meditation. There's one thing all of those systems have in common, and one thing only, and that's silence. Silence and stillness. Every true and genuine spiritual or religious system has at its core the wisdom that says, be still and know, so that we can hear the still small voice. So whichever religion we're currently wearing, whichever spiritual system, whichever meeting we're going to 2, 3 times a week, whatever that is, whatever we're doing, at the core and the base of it all, the thing that brings us all together in this incredibly diverse and chasm-filled world is silence. So if you're meditating, and you're here today, you can, I bet you're feeling more of this wisdom, love, joy, and light more and more effectively and efficiently, because there's nothing that gets us on the beam any more efficiently than becoming quiet and letting the wobble, the distortion, the human beliefs, the confusion, the ignorance, and the insanity calm down and become quiet, quite like meditation, so that the signal can come in, and that by the fruit we shall know that we are ascending an endless scale upward toward, well, where the cats are. Have a beautiful day. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Be on the beam, kids.